Alhamdulillah, I'm from group 2. Now I will explain about borrowing. Borrowing is a translation technique that involves using same word or expression in original text in the target text. The word expression borrowed is usually written in italic. This is about reproducing expression in the original text as is. In this sense, it is translation technique that does not actually translate. Example, De Guacho was wearing a black sombrero and worn bombage. Borrowing, this means taking words straight into another language. Borrowed terms often pass into general usage. For example, in the fields of technology, software, and counterpunk. Borrowing can be for different reasons. One, the target language has no or general usage equivalent. For example, the first man made satellites were Soviet. So far at a time they were known in English as Sputniks. 2. The short language word sounds better or more specific accepted, even though it can be translated. For example, Spanish IT is full, or terms like software, and Spanish accountants talk of overhead, even though this term can be translated into Spanish fashionable exotics. 3. To retain some feel of the source language. For example, from a recent issue of the Guardian newspaper, Madrileños are surprisingly unworldly. Thank you.
Ways of borrowings. Borrowings enter the language in two ways. The first, through oral speech by immediate context between the people. There took place in the early period of history. There are usually short and under considerable change in acts of adoption. The second, through written speech by indirect context, through books, etc. The change importance in recent times, they preserves their spelling and some uh, peculiarities of their sound form. Their assimilation is long and laborious process. Next, motivation of change. In general, we can say the speaker generally consistently with change in their language other influence of another language for two reasons. The first, the speaker fall under influence of another language because there is something more attractive about the language. The attraction learns being associated with the higher prestige of the speakers of the language or its wider use in the communicate where both languages are spoken. Okay, the second, borrowing is a consequence of cultural context between two languages communicate.
Okay, next, I'm Sandra. I'm explaining about the types of borrowing. Basically, we have two types of borrowing, direct borrowing and indirect borrowing. Direct borrowing subtypes. Number 1, cultural borrowing. Cultural borrowing, also called loan words, necessary cultural borrowing are words that fill gaps in the recipient language. Store of words because they stand for object or concept new to the language cultures. Most common CBS around the world are versions of English words automobile of car because most cultures did not have such motorcycles words vehicles before contacts with Western cultures. Number 2. Chord borrowing. Chord borrowing are words that duplicate elements that the recipient language already has in its word store. There are unnecessary by definition another layer on the cake because the recipient language always valuable equivalent. Number 3. Therapeutic borrowing. Borrowing has also been said to occur for therapeutic reasons, when the original word becomes unifiable to subcase of the art borrowing due to word taboo in some cultures. There are strict word taboo rules.
Next, my name is Yani Mehlai. I will explain about indirect or less direct borrowing. 3 indirect borrowings. 1. Calc or loan translation. Many calcs consist of more than one word. Translation is loaned, not the word phonological say is not loaned. And 2. Loan steps. Phonological form is borrowed, but different meaning is given from its original. Last 20 years, French and German borrowed English German, usually same point in French is name of product, not the process. And 3. Loan blends and hybrids. They consist from both language, the donor and recipient language. English grandfather is from French grandparent and English.